So I know that you're giving platform to people that are not vegans. So, and I know you're trying to share your own opinion. So I'm going to respect that. So
have you seen my stuff on YouTube?
I haven't.
Go ahead.
But what turns you vegan?
What turned me vegan?
What turns you vegan?
That's a really good question. I guess I was an animal lover from when I was a small child. But you don't have to love animals to be vegan. It's just the injustice of what we do to animals. To take somebody's life, somebody behind me, taking somebody's life when you don't need to is an injustice.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. Yeah, just some information that I found out. Why do you ask the question?
No, I'm just asking. It's like, I'm not really sure if all vegans don't move it. What's it called?
I respect you. I'm here to talk to people, so you ask any questions you want to ask, and I'm here to try and answer them for you. You know, so go for it, man. Say what you want to say. I'll not be offended by anything.
What do you think of like all the food miles and all, and like getting all like vegan stuff getting transported?
Do you think that's a problem? Yeah, I do too. But that's not a problem that's just exclusive to vegans, because I mean, some of the beef you go into the supermarkets from Argentina, it's just one example off the top of my head. So the eels that they pull out of Loch Ness from here, they get sold all over the world. They go to France and restaurants. So that's not an exclusive problem for vegans. I try to eat as locally produce as I can, but it's not always possible.
Yeah, because like the locally produce stuff can be from countries that are like...
I get you. I get you. So you're talking like avocados, for example. I don't eat a lot of avocados, but that's not a get out, because loads of vegans do. But most avocados are not eaten by vegans, they're just eaten by everybody. One of the main problems is that, so the Amazon forest is being absolutely decimated at the minute. You've probably learned about that in school. Like they're cutting down like a size of a football field every minute, or 3 football fields every minute, something like that. Anyway, so like it's been absolutely trashed to grow crops, but the crops that they grow in the Amazon, something over 90% of them are fed to who? Who do you think they go to?
Like, not really sure myself.
Yeah, they're fed to the animals that we eat. There's 8 billion human beings on this planet, right? Do you know how many animals, land animals we eat every year for 8 billion humans? How many do you think?
Say probably well over about 12 million.
Yeah.
12 billion, sorry.
About, at last count, I think this was last year, 76 billion. So we're feeding 76 billion land animals crops that we could grow to 8 billion, or we could feed to 8 billion human beings. So when you're producing meat, for example, I think it takes between 12 and 16 kilograms of grain to produce 1 kilogram of beef. So the animal agriculture is way, way, way more worse for the environment, worse for the planet than plant-based farming.
And then, like, what type of diet would you have, like, as a vegan?
Personally, I eat whole foods, plant-based, so I try to eat as much brown rice and grains and cereals and pulses and fruit. I eat loads of fruit, but you don't have to eat healthy as a vegan. You can eat unhealthy vegan stuff as well. You know, veganism's not about health, although it comes as a side benefit if you eat correctly. Obviously, but veganism's about the animals, and it's a justice. It's what's the word? It's a movement based on a philosophy of doing as little harm or the least harm possible to animals. It's not about diet. That makes sense?
Yeah. What's it called? One more question.
No, go for it, man.
And what was I going to say myself? What do you think of, like, do you know how people would say, like, all, like, plants and all are living things? What's your opinion on that? Like, what would you consider what is, like, a vegan, like, product?
Where do you draw the line? Where I draw the line is sentience. So animals have a brain and a central nervous system, which means they can feel pain and suffer. Plants don't have that. So would I cut down a tree? No, I love trees and I think they should be protected, but we have to eat something. And when you eat plants, most crops can be replaced by, they produce seeds to produce more crops. Human beings have to eat something. So let me put it to you this way. If there was a carrot lying over there now and somebody kicked a carrot, would you care, really?
Somebody ate it?
If somebody kicked the carrot.
Oh, kicked it?
I know it's a funny thing to say, but would you care, really? Would you think, oh shit, that guy's kicking a carrot, I'm going to do something about it? Would you think that was wrong? What if somebody was kicking out a kitten or a cat? Would you think that was wrong?
Yeah, because obviously have like a nervous system that can feel pain and have a brain, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I understand your point. And thank you for sharing.
What do you think of veganism? What do you think of the say that? Did you know this was about veganism before you started?
Yeah, no, I had a look and I just wanted to talk about it because
Yeah.
I wasn't really fully educated on it, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to just
Ask
learn
as
some of
many
your points.
questions as you want, man. I appreciate you stopping. That's why I'm here. I'm not standing here to judge people. I'm standing here to try and
Understand.
educate
Yeah,
people.
I totally understand.
I wasn't always vegan
Yeah.
up until, well, I'm 56 in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
I stopped eating animal products when I was 19. I'm healthy and thriving on it. I feel great on it. I didn't go fully vegan until 10 years ago because I didn't have the information I have now. I watched the speech. I'm going to give you a wee card. I'll give you a card now in 1 sec. I watched a speech on YouTube which sounds really, really boring. Believe me, it's not. It's about 40 minutes long, and it just changed my whole perspective. There's a guy talking about the philosophy. It's not about being perfect, it's about doing the least harm possible. There you go.
Thanks.
This one here, best speech you'll ever hear. It's on YouTube, free to watch. Here's the thing, man. There's stuff happening in the industries to animals that I was taught from a young age. You're taught the humane slaughter thing.
Yeah.
You're taught the animals are looked after well.
Yeah.
Man, I've seen it all, and have you seen what happens to animals?
And, like, I can understand with like doing like free range products and all. Like, I don't fully believe in it as well, but like at the same time, I'm sort of like left to like I respect your opinions, but like I also think it's hard because like. What religion are you? Like, what do you believe in?
I'm an atheist.
You're an atheist?
I was brought up as a Brethren Gospel Hall. Do you know what that is? So Christian.
Yeah.
Evangelical Christian.
Yeah.
Really strict.
So.
But now I'm atheist.
Yeah.
And atheist from the position of I would never say there is no God. My position is that I don't know whether there is or not. How would I know? How does anybody know that? Why do you ask that?
So what my perspective is Jesus brought obviously animals, and I believe like there was no such thing as like back then, like maybe like I can't really
Linda McCartney sausages or something like that. Yeah, is that what you mean?
There wasn't like that sort of like, because in sausages and all, they're not like fully like natural, if you know what I mean. They sort of make them themselves, you know.
What I would say to that is you're probably right. Did Jesus exist or not? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he probably did. Whether he was divine or not, I really don't know. But did he eat, the story of the fishes and the bread? He probably did eat fish and animals and stuff. I really don't know. But my takeaway from that is Jesus would be compassionate and kind. And I asked somebody here the other week who was one of the Christian preacher guys here, if you were to go into a slaughterhouse, who do you think would be cool with that? Who would be the coolest with what happens in a slaughterhouse? Jesus or the devil? It's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think?
No comment.
I know it's a hard question.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what we do in one type of slaughterhouse to animals, and you tell me whether you think Jesus would be cool with it or not.
Okay.
So pigs in this country, do you know how we kill them?
It's like slaughterhouses. Like,
Do you know what we do when they get there?
don't they like kill them?
Yeah. Gas chambers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, gas chambers.
Yeah, so they're suffocated to death in a CO2 gas chamber. I've done vigils where you get to spend a little time with animals before they go in. They are terrified from the minute they arrive. Man, you should hear the screams of those animals.
Sometimes, what's it called? I do believe in maybe like Jesus or God or something would like eat non-vegan things, because there wasn't that sort of platform back then where there was sort of vegan, like there was vegans. There might have been some people who didn't believe in killing animals.
Yeah.
But
Are you Christian, by the way? Do you?
I am.
Yeah. So if you look in Genesis, because I was brought up in the Gospel Hall, I know my Bible quite well. So I did Bible study and stuff. Genesis 1:29 is the first time that God ever supposedly spoke to human beings. Do you know what that says? Where he tells humans what to eat, and he gives them all the plants. Doesn't mention animals at all. The only time humans were allowed to eat animals was after the flood, when there was nothing to eat. So he allowed human beings to eat animals at that time, but that was after the fall and after man had sinned. So God's original plan in the Bible was for human beings to only eat plants. You can look it up yourself, Genesis 1:29. So from a Christian perspective, for me, even though I'm not Christian anymore, what would you rather do? Would you rather eat with God's original kind plan where you don't have to harm animals? Or do you want to do what happened after the fall where God allowed men to eat animals specifically because there was nothing left on the earth to eat, Whether that story's actually happened or not, I don't know. But I think if you do believe the Bible, God's original plan was for human beings just to eat plants. What do you think of that?
Well, yeah, I would believe to follow Jesus and what God, like, as my religion follows.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the sort of way I've been brought up into people's families and stuff, and it's like, you know, a lot of people, like vegans, get looked at badly, and they get like bad reputation for what they think. As you see.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Like, I'm not really exactly sure. It's not like the sort of person I would, and I would respect other people's opinions.
Yeah.
And
I'm exactly the same. The only two takeaways to that: the newspapers portray us as extremists.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's extreme. I think it's extreme to take baby animals into a slaughterhouse and cut their throat. That's extreme. I think it's extreme to throw pigs into gas chambers.
Yeah, I don't believe
I'm portrayed as an extremist. I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell anybody what to do. But I can't come out here and say, well, look, this is what's happening to animals. Yes. Yeah. I was brought up the same as you.
Yeah.
Humane slaughter. Humane means benevolence or to care or be kind to somebody. What does slaughter mean? Kill somebody in a violent fashion. So those two words do not belong together. That's a complete oxymoron. That language is there to make the consumer feel better about something you probably know. Like, would you like to go to a slaughterhouse and watch what happens to animals in a slaughterhouse?
Really. Yeah. Like, it's a bit extreme. Like, just think of going there to just watch animals being killed for people's benefit of food.
Yeah, especially when you can just eat plants instead. Yeah. You know, you don't even have to eat the alternatives. You can just eat plants. Was
the change hard for you to turn to vegan? No.
No, but I want to be honest about that. I was a strict vegetarian from when I was 19. So 10 or 11 years ago, when I went fully strictly vegan, it was easier for me because I was already not eating any animal products. But it seems hard. Every vegan I know thinks the same as you. 2 weeks before, they're thinking, I don't want to harm animals. And you, that sounds harsh, but you are when you go in and buy a product, you're supply and demand. You're literally paying somebody to do something to an animal you would never do yourself. So 2 weeks before, you're thinking, what I eat? You think you're changing everything, but you're not. I mean, what do you normally eat for dinner? Say you're eating a potato dinner, right? Potato, peas, leeks, onion, whatever. The only thing you're changing on that plate is one thing, a piece of chicken or a piece of meat, and you're just eating a vegan burger instead or vegan chicken instead. So you're not replacing everything, you're replacing some things. I didn't find it hard at all. The people who find it hard are going vegan for their own health or for the environment. I'm vegan because of the victims. I looked at it from their perspective, and when you look at it from their perspective, when you're a baby animal like 6 months old being taken into a slaughterhouse and being hung upside down and having your throat cut, if you can put yourself in their shoes, it's not even hard in the slightest, you know.
What's it called? And has there been any like health changes? Have you like noticed anything since you went vegan? Like
since I went vegan again, I mean, all I can say to you is I'm 56 in 2 weeks' time, and I feel mega healthy.
Really?
I don't feel like most 56-year-olds. Yeah. I haven't been in hospital since I was 4 years old when I had my tonsils out. I'm never sick. I'm lean, I'm fit, I'm healthy, you know, so if I can survive and thrive on a plant-based diet, and I'm not saying everybody does that, because some vegans eat a pile of crap. Like some vegans make plants all day long on McDonald's and eat vegan chocolate and vegan ice cream all day. And I'm not saying I eat some of those things, but I was lucky I fell into a healthy, whole food, plant-based diet early, and I feel very healthy. So if I'm standing here healthy and thriving on it, I think anybody can, you know. What do you think of that?
Yeah, thank you for sharing like your opinions.
I appreciate you, man. Can I ask you what age you are, by the way? Because you're a very intelligent young lad.
I'm 12, turning 13 really soon.
You're 12 coming 40. I'm going to give you a card.
You give me?
Oh, I'll give you a card. So you see on that wee card there, are you into sport or anything like that?
What's that?
You into sport or anything? So let me show you the card here, one sec. So the one I want you to watch is that speech.
Okay.
Best speech you'll ever hear, literally.
Is this your YouTube?
That's my YouTube,
and
yeah. So watch this, 40 minutes long. Okay. It will change your entire perspective on everything. That guy will push you way down the road.
And then,
but you see, let me see, can't even see it, Casper. Game Changers, there.
Yeah.
This one. So this is where they put athletes onto a plant-based diet. They weren't fully vegan, it's a plant-based diet, and showed you the changes. in their bodies and how good it is for your health. So there's loads of athletes now are turning vegan because it's good for longevity. Like Tom Brady in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers eats a vegan diet because they've realised now that eating animal products is full of saturated fat, cholesterol, antibiotics, and you're consuming fear and death as well. I honestly believe it's really bad for you, which is why the hospitals are full of people who are obese and they've got heart disease and type 2 diabetes. You don't need saturated fat, cholesterol. You don't need antibiotics in your diet.
This on YouTube,
Yeah, probably will. Yeah. Okay. What do you think in general? And would you think it's something I know you're living at home probably with your parents or guardians or whatever. Do you think it's something you would consider, or?
I'll probably try it and see what it's like. See if I feel any changes, because. I
want to ask you something else before you go. Your parents, if you went home today, and I'm not saying you will because you have a lot to take in, if you went home and told your parents you were going vegan, what do you think they'd say?
I'm not really sure. I think my parents will be supportive because they've been there for me a lot of times, and I think they'll be supportive of it.
That's a good thing. I went vegetarian when I was young. My parents were supportive of it, and I ended up doing my own cooking and stuff because I'm talking way back, like I'm 50 odd. I ended up doing my own cooking and stuff, but nowadays, man, I don't know if you go to the shop. Do you go to Tesco's, or where does your mum do her shopping?
Probably like Tesco's,
Full of vegan food.
Yeah.
If you're looking for it. Like, you see all the plant-based milks, plant-based yogurts, there's fresh vegan stuff like burgers and stuff, there's a frozen vegan section, frozen pizzas, lasagnas. Man, the shops are full of vegan stuff now. You go to Starbucks and Nero, plant-based milk. Nero have like 10 or 12 vegan options to eat. Cheesecake and raspberry croissants.
It's a good thing that they have like options for vegans as well, so they can sort of keep with like modern day.
I'm going to leave you with one thing. Always think about the animals and put yourself in their position. I know you would never harm an animal. You know,
like somebody. I thought it was the other way round. If we were the ones that are known as animals, and the animals that we think are humans, or a higher type of life.
We're all highly protective of dogs. Like, if somebody was kicking a doggy over here now, you'd probably try and do something about it. You'd be really upset to see a dog being kicked. But what happens to animals in slaughterhouses? 10 times worse. And then we're taught these. What's the one you said earlier? Free range. Absolute lies, man. Free range is absolute lie. Free range is the term we generally use for hens and chickens and eggs. Free range eggs. Man, I've been in the free range barns. Free range only means they're not in cages. So the farmers will have two barns now. The barn with the cage hens, and then the barn next door will be free range. So the free range barn has 9 birds per square metre. If you've seen the conditions in those barns, man, there's nothing free range about it. There's a door at one end about the size of a cat flap where some or a few will get out during the day, but thousands of them never even know it's there, man. They live a miserable existence crammed in with other birds for 18 months. 18 months, and guess where they end up after 18 months when their egg production drops?
Somebody's at them.
Sent to a slaughterhouse, so even that's cruel. So all these euphemisms they use, like organic and local farming and free range and humane and certified by the RSPCA and all that crap, man, all it is language to make human beings feel better about really terrible things that are happening to animals. What's that?
Like, make them feel better about what they think is like free range, and that it doesn't really change anything, does it? It
doesn't change a thing for the animals, and no matter what farm they're brought up on, they all end up at the same slaughterhouse anyway. So what do you say your name was again?
Jade.
I appreciate you, man. My name's Cliff. Follow that YouTube channel and you'll see your video up, and give it a thought and watch that speech. If you watch one thing, watch that speech.
Okay.
Alright, Jed.
See you later.
Alright, lads.
Have a good day.
Have a good day yourself.